Morning commute.
Number one whenever news breaks during your day.
And number one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. It is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. And holy cow, what do you know? We're over 1,000 subscribers on this here program.
Let's go.
On the old YouTube machine. And again, thanks to everybody who listens to this show on podcast. I know many of you listen to the podcast and still subscribe on YouTube, and thank you for that. And just because we are over 1,000, we are going to give you a Samsung 50-inch 4K Crystal UHD rocket ship with a year of Disney Plus streaming. That's coming up here in just a few minutes. Stick around for that. Driftwood says he's in first.
There you go.
And he is. And he is every time. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. What an incredible night in the NBA playoffs last night. Jake says the Suns and Nuggets was the game of the year. Mm-hmm. The best game of the entire year.
Mm-hmm. I do say that.
You're going to stand by that.
I am, yeah.
Okay. Gabe Ledley says, congrats on 1K, fellas, to the moon. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, by the way, a couple of laundry items before we get into how much the Jazz are going to miss Mike Conley tonight. What are we going to do going forward for prize giveaways? Because I don't know that, I know that I am wealthy beyond Jeff Bezos' wildest dreams.
Right, yeah.
But, I mean, we're giving away thousands of dollars in merch on this show.
Uh-huh.
I mean, are we going to continue to do that? Like, what?
I want more.
I want more. What do you want to do going forward with giveaways?
I think we need some ideas from our people in the comments. I mean, what would you guys, what would you guys like? I mean, we've done TVs, we've done game consoles, we've done,
We have done an Xbox S, PS5, and a PS4.
Yeah.
And today, in about 20 minutes, we're going to give away a TV and streaming.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we can do with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we may just stay on that course, or we'll have to figure something out. I don't know exactly, to be honest. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to scheme.
Yeah. And look, none of this would happen if you guys weren't here. So thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have not, make sure you find us. Just go to themontyshow.com. MONTY, themontyshow.com. It's a direct link to our YouTube channel. What a game in the Valley of the Sun last night. Let's get into the NBA playoffs. We're going to talk a lot of Jazz Clippers coming up, but we want to start with what happened yesterday. My God, Mikal Bridges came to life last night. DeAndre Ayton played the game of his life, and the Phoenix Suns blew out the Denver Nuggets. Jake, are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised they blew out the Nuggets. I'm not surprised they won the game at home. I think that this Suns team doesn't get nearly the credit that they deserve, and I saw the Jazz Twitter machine last night. The Jazz fans and people who cover the team and everybody in the community talking about how they didn't know that the Suns were this good, and man, like this Suns team is really controlling the Nuggets in the second half, and wow, like we're really impressed. And I'm just kind of surprised by that. I mean, it's not like the Suns were the 8 seed or something. They were the 2 seed. At one point, had the 1 seed lead over you, and beat you head to head. So not only did you see them in person, you saw how good they were. They've been pushing you the entire season. Let's not forget that you only won the West by, what was it, a game and a half? It's not like you won the West by 5 games. So I was just genuinely surprised to read on Twitter last night that some pretty prominent names were surprised how good the Suns were. And I'm just sitting here saying, hey, guy to my left over here says that Devin Booker's a superstar. That's a conversation on its own. But what's not a conversation is how damn good this team is. I mean, you're talking about a team that comes out and absolutely dominates the Nuggets in the second half. I'm talking alley-oops. I'm talking 4-point plays out of Devin Booker. I'm talking Chris Paul hitting threes and in the mid-range. I mean, it's everything you want. And this should show you how important having a fully healthy team is, because that's what the Suns have. And if you're a Jazz fan, if you watched that game last night, that should really speak to you how important it is that Mike Conley come back and be in good shape. But we're going to get to that. But yes, I thought that this was indeed the game of the year without question.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting is, I believe that the Suns and the Jazz are two of the most underappreciated teams in the NBA. It was shocking last night how many people were tweeting, and it was just painfully obvious they had no idea that Mikal Bridges could shoot a three, or that Devin Booker was this dominant. It's amazing to me also that most people watching this game, or a lot of people tweeting about this game, I guess is the right way to say this, national media people had no idea the Suns were this aggressive defensively. This is not new. This is who they've been all year. And that tells you that East Coast bias is real.
Yeah.
It tells you that a lot of the media on the East Coast just don't watch West Coast basketball. They don't pay attention to why the Clippers were struggling. They just call them a bust. They don't care that the Jazz were an elite three-point shooting team all year long. Well, that's all they say because that's what the box score says. But it doesn't talk about ball movement. It doesn't talk about, the pick and roll. It doesn't talk about the fact that Donovan Mitchell is one of the absolute elite performers in this league because they don't watch games. And it's amazing to me. You're paid to watch games, but you don't watch games. Mm-hmm. That's what's amazing to me. But I thought, Jake, the Suns showed out, and one of the interesting questions that came out of that performance was, is this Phoenix Suns team a legitimate threat to take down the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I mean, so by take down, I'm assuming you mean like win the NBA Finals, right? That's kind of what that's what you mean by that.
What else would it mean?
I don't know. To get there, I have no idea. I mean, yeah, can they win the NBA Finals? Sure, but I think that they have a lot of proving to do. I think that we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves with the Suns. Like, yes, they showed last night nationally to everybody that they're a legit squad. Can they beat the Nuggets? Yeah, I'm pretty confident that they can go ahead and beat the Nuggets. Will it be a longer series? Yes. I think it'll be 6, maybe even 7 if they mess around and lose a game they shouldn't. But can the Suns win a championship? Yes, I do think this Suns team is good enough to win a championship. Will they? No. After what happened last night in Brooklyn, I'm not sure that anybody can stop the Brooklyn Nets. Honestly, like even without Harden, that was an absolute display of firepower, which is just incredibly fun to watch. So, I still have the Nets as the favorite to win the championship. But man, coming out of the West, I think I don't think we know who it is yet, honestly.
I feel like you have two series that are wide open. I certainly don't think we've seen the best of the Denver Nuggets yet, at least not last night. We didn't. And I'm really, this Jazz Clippers series that starts tonight, my goodness, that is going to be a gem. I have such high hopes for a 6 or 7 game series between both the Suns and the Nugs and the Clippers and the Jazz. I think Clippers and Jazz have a whole lot of opportunity to put on a show and really showcase Donovan Mitchell and what this Utah Jazz team can do. And I don't think you're introducing yourself on the national stage. You finished with the best record in the NBA. Some people know about you. But what I'm saying is Donovan Mitchell so very rarely gets this kind of stage. And he's gone out early in the playoffs the last several years. This is a real opportunity for Donovan Mitchell to put his name into the MVP conversation for the next 5 years. That's what's on the line tonight for the Utah Jazz. That's what's on the line for Donovan Mitchell. I think Devin Booker the same way. I think, that's why we talked about it on the show yesterday, Paul George. This is a critical series for Paul George. This is a critical series for Don. I think Rudy Gobert. This is a critical series for Rudy Gobert because we talk about his contract. He is maligned as a center. There's a lot of people who are perplexed and questioning that $205 million deal that Gobert got. Mm-hmm. Well, tonight begins the journey to quiet all those naysayers. And I'll be interested to see if they can do it. Like, I think this Mike Conley injury, I don't know, you seem pretty resolute. I'm not sure that he's going to play tonight. You are pretty sure he's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he's not playing tonight. And the reason I say that is just based off logic and looking at the situation. So, let's wind the clocks back to when we had the Donovan injury report madness that happened against Memphis in Game 1. When that happened, everybody was stressing because Donovan Mitchell didn't play. They really struggled in Game 1, and then they right the ship. I look at this situation and I say, okay, the role's reversed now. Mike Conley is a guy that you really want to have on the floor. Is he a guy you absolutely, positively need to win one game? No. To survive one game, Game 1 in a 7-game series, you don't need Mike Conley, especially at home, to make it happen for you. Would it be nice to have? Absolutely. But I don't think that the Jazz are in a position right now with Mike Conley where they feel like they got to force him back. So that's why I say I'm pretty confident that he's not going to play tonight. And I think that he misses tonight's game. If they lose, he comes back for Game 2. If they win, he'll miss Game 2 and he'll come back for Game 3 on the road. That's what I think the game plan is. And I only say that because the Jazz do not want to rush Mike Conley back. They want to wait as long as possible, give that hamstring as much time as possible, and then when they need that extra little bump, they're going to bring him back. And that could, again, if you lose tonight, that's Game 2. If you win tonight and you win Game 2, then that's going to be Game 3. That's what I think the situation is.
Yeah, I think you are I think you're a lot more pessimistic than I am. I do not believe he'll play tonight. My instinct is he will not play tonight. I think it depends on what happens tonight, whether he plays on Thursday night. Frankly, when I'm in Vegas, getting drunk and eating steak at Mastro's Ocean Club, will Mike Conley be playing? I don't know. We'll see. But what I do know is that you're not going to be there, and so, yeah, I'm a baller and you're not.
What you want me to say to them?
Yeah, there's nothing you can say. Anyway, the point is, if Mike Conley doesn't play tonight, there's a real simple question, and this is a really important question. Who can the Utah Jazz count on to make sure that it's not Don and everybody else? Who steps into that void? Because Mike Conley loves the basketball in big moments. We saw that in the bubble. We saw that in Donovan's absence. We saw that in the Memphis series. He loves the basketball. But I don't know who else falls into that category. The main thing is that do you trust Bojan Bogdanovic to finish as your number 2 guy? I think you have no other choice. If Mike Conley doesn't play in this game, you have to feature Bojan Bogdanovic in set offensive pieces. You have to give him the opportunity to play with his back to the basket. You have to give him the opportunity in pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. Mm-hmm. You have to, because if this regresses to Don and everybody else, the LA Clippers are too good defensively to let Don and everybody else beat them.
Bojan.
But if Bojan Bogdanovic steps up, Jake, I think this Jazz team, if he's 30-point Bojan, as you love to say,
Bojan.
If Bojan drops a 30-piece nugget,
Bojan Bogdanovic,
they're going to win this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whether Conley plays or not. If Bojan and Don get theirs, this game's over already.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you. The Clippers are really good defensively. There's no doubt. They have length around the floor, and they can make your life difficult. I think that what's required tonight to win the game, if that's the question, yeah, I agree. Bojan has got to put out. Well, I can't have 15-point Bojan. I got to have 25 at least. And I'd love to see him have 5 to 7 reboards in addition to that.
Reboards? The point is, I think he can't go quarters where he doesn't score, where he's just not offensively a weapon. And I agree, he's got to hit the glass. He's got to rebound. I also think that offensive rebounds will be a huge part of winning this series. I mean, because obviously what I'm inferring is that Rudy Gobert is going to have a significant impact on the win or the loss. And I think defensively, the Utah Jazz rely far too much on Rudy Gobert to clean things up in the paint. And I just think that in today's NBA, he nor any other center are going to be capable of doing that. It's not a knock on Rudy. He's one of the best defensive players of his generation. Likely the defensive player of the year, unless he gets hosed like Quin Snyder and Monty Williams did for Coach of the Year.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my feeling is that Rudy Gobert will be Defensive Player of the Year. But you're talking about the Western Conference semifinals now. You're talking about the LA Clippers, who everybody's written off and said that they're a terrible team, and Kristaps Porzingis' mom and all this other. Okay, we get it.
My fucking ass.
I'm telling you, the LA Clippers are a legitimate contender to win an NBA championship right now today. And if the Jazz don't take them seriously, if the Jazz think that they can rest Mike Conley because it's just the LA Clippers. Look how they struggled against the Mavericks. We got this. Man, I can't wait for the Suns and Jazz in the Western Conference Finals. If that's where this goes, I'm telling you the Jazz are going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Quinn is going to allow that kind of mentality to happen. Do the Jazz and any other team say, "Hey, we're at home. This is a game we're definitely going to win"? Yeah, they do say that, but I don't think that they're sleeping on the Clippers. I think that it's more of a, hey, everybody needs to do their job, and I think what's going to happen is that, hey, we're going to come out, we're going to try and make all these shots, and my feeling is this is going to go one way or the other, and it's going to be very extreme to one way or the other. There's not very much middle ground for this Jazz team, which is, hey, we're going to roll out in game 1 at home, we're going to shoot the lights out, and we're going to get out to like a 20-point lead in the first half. Or the alternative to that would be, hey, we've been off for a week, we're going to try to shoot the lights out, we're going to brick a bunch of stuff, and we're going to get down by like 10 or 15, and then in the second half, we're going to have to reel this thing back in.
Yep.
So I think it'll be really interesting just to see the dynamic of the game and how that plays out, because I don't think that, certainly if you're the Clippers, you don't want to ever be down 10 or 15 points to this team. It's going to happen, but you don't ever want to be there, obviously. If you're the Jazz, I think you got to be really careful if you lose this game mentally, because you're going to go right to, well, we didn't have Conley, so he's going to come back in game 2 and everything will be fine. Well, what happens in game 2 if he comes out and he gets Anthony Davis, which is, hey, he plays 5 minutes and can't keep going? Then I think you're in kind of a precarious situation, and you have to kind of figure out how you're going to get out of that.
Yep, lots of people in this morning. Jazz Huddle says, yo, how y'all doing this morning? Doing well. Driftwood says, I hate Denver. I hope they lose every game they ever play again, including preseason and their G League team. Wow. Okay, Driftwood.
So you're saying you're a Suns fan last night.
We're in that vibe. Seek YT says, I want more giveaways, but I really don't think it's good because most people are coming only for the giveaway, but it's your guys' choice. Well, I would be worried about that, but our viewer time, so when somebody, YouTube very carefully tracks metrics, when somebody comes to the channel to watch a piece of content, they stay here on average 14 minutes. So if you're coming here just for the giveaway, hey, bless you. Thanks for hanging around, because that really helps the channel grow, frankly. Yeah, that helps us get in the YouTube algorithm when people watch our stuff. So we appreciate that. I don't need a giveaway, but I would like to buy your PS5 from you. Driftwood, my man.
Bro.
It's gone now. We gave it away. Sorry. Sean Mirzinski says, congratulations, guys. Oh, wait. Well, no, I'm not even going to say it out loud. Thanks, Sean. Moon Darren says, wait, The Monty Show has a website? Yes, in fact, we do.
Yes.
It is themontyshow.com. It's just a direct link to our YouTube channel. We used to create all kinds of content, but then we actually, got jobs and stuff. Yeah. Who won yesterday? Seek says. Won what yesterday?
Brandon Whiteside.
Oh, Brandon Whiteside's won the PS4, yes. James Knight says, morning, guys. I see the Jazz have a clear run to the Western Conference Final, 4-1 in this series. Okay. I mean, he's had a lot of 4X gold.
We're going to have to talk about it. I mean, he's not the only one saying that the Jazz are going to win this series in 5.
How many people here really believe the Jazz are winning this series 4-1?
I'm legitimately asking. Like, comment if you legit think that the Jazz are going to win this in 5. Because if you think that, then we have to have a conversation about like where you're coming from on that.
And how much illegal illicit drugs you are using. Because how is that? Even James Knight, just explain to me real quick in a comment. How do you see them winning this series in 5? Like, what does that look like? You're shooting the lights out, I would think,
you
right? You
have to be.
Like, I mean, you're shooting 85, 90% from 3 for the series. You're never missing anything inside the 3-point.
You're being ridiculous now.
Stripe. Now, I mean, you like every shot you take goes in, right? I don't know how you would beat the Clippers 4 out of 5 games.
It would require the Clippers not playing well.
I mean, they would have to be just trash.
Or a major injury, obviously.
Yeah, something would catastrophic would have to happen. Jazz Huddle says, and Jeremy, that was without Harden. What did Jeremy say? There's so many. Let me go back and see.
Comment dumps.
Jeremy Bolton says, the Nets are ridiculous. I hate it. Jazz Huddle says, yeah, I agree. As much as it hurts, nobody is stopping them.
Nope.
No, they're not. Jeremy Bolton, I don't know that they're ridiculous. I think I think that is current day NBA. I mean, you're talking about two of the best players in the world in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
Dominating what everybody said was a much improved Milwaukee Bucks team.
Oh my God, Giannis. Oh my God, Holiday. Oh my God, Middleton. Yeah, you lost by 50 points, guy. Come on.
Wait, do we know anything about the NBA?
I mean, people were joking yesterday that we should just do a segment about like what we get right. We told you guys literally 90 days ago on the show that the Bucks were not going to the NBA Finals, and everybody said, "Oh, you're crazy."
The Bucks are the same team as they were.
Yeah, dude.
One point guard who hasn't really ever won anything is not going to change your fortunes. When you build your franchise around a guy, and Giannis Ante can't shoot the ball to Kumpo, when you build around that guy, teams do not respect him. He is. Do you realize how bad the Bucks were last night? How many Milwaukee Bucks starters shot a free throw? 1. How many Bucks in total shot a free throw in the entire game? 2. Like they shot 11 free throws. Giannis made 9 of those shots, or shot 9 of the 11. He made 7 of his 9. His brother came in garbage time and took the other 2 shots.
You're so fucked.
I mean, it's over, man. Like it. I don't care what anybody says. The truth about the Brooklyn Nets is, it's not their offense that's winning in this series. It's their defense. They lost James Harden and Landry Shamet and Mike James's defense. As much as I have slurped, licked, and blown Mike James on this show, I'm telling you that Mike James's defense is what is absolutely his best trait.
I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here
I
today.
mean, the guy has stepped into 1,000 passing lanes. He is, keeping Holiday out of the paint. Like his defense has been great. Shamet hitting threes.
Yeah.
I mean, James Harden has played 46 seconds in this series. They're up 2-0, and it hasn't been close.
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Sean Mierzinski says, I feel for Milwaukee fans. I really do. First, the Aaron Rodgers stuff, and now your basketball team is blowing a huge opportunity. Yeah. You know what I feel for Milwaukee fans? Move to Chicago. Driftwood says, Conley will play. Hope you're right. Jeremy Bolton says, wow. Okay. Sorry, Jeremy. I tried to read your comment, and it got blown up. Saw a good tweet last night that said, few things more inspiring in sports than watching a team full of narcissistic malcontents form together and blow the doors off of a team formed otherwise. Is that a reference to the Nets? Narcissistic malcontents.
See, now that's just not the way to go here, Karen.
So you're saying that Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden are narcissistic malcontents. Okay, well, I would love to understand the narcissistic part, because that generally what narcissism is anyway. You can hate on the Brooklyn Nets all you want. They did what every other team in the NBA can do and just chose not to. So my question is, what exactly did the Brooklyn Nets do wrong? Is this a super team jab? I got to think that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's a TV, and they haven't announced it yet. Okay. Jazz Huddle said,
asking about the giveaway.
Oh, yeah. We're giving away a 50-inch crystal UHD 4K TV. I don't know why it's got to be so complicated. And a year of Disney Plus streaming. That's coming up here in about 10 minutes. Moon Darren says, okay, another 10 minutes to go. Yeah, by the way, these are all the names. We're just going to pull a name. This bowl is filled with everybody who has, and maybe the close-up will do it more justice, who has subscribed and tagged us in a picture on social media. This is the whole bowl. There's got to be, and we're probably going to have to change the bowl because it's hard to keep them in there now.
Yeah.
There's got to be 500-600 names in here. It's pretty remarkable. So we'll give that away here coming up in a bit. Mitchell Harding says, we really do need a Game 6 OKC closeout game for Don tonight. You do. You need Donovan Mitchell to come out and just swoop.
Signature killer performance.
Dominate.
Signature killer performance. 40 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yep.
That's what I need.
Mike Phillips says, without Mike Conley, I think you mean.
Yeah.
We have 3 guys who can penetrate and force the defense to react.
Okay, wait. Stop right there. Who are the 3 guys? Because I think of 2, which would be Don, obviously.
Yep.
And then Jordan Clarkson. So
those are 2 of his 3. Who do you think his third is?
I'm guessing his third is going to be Bogdanovich, but I don't think that it's not Bogdanovich.
Think 4X beer.
Jingles.
Joe Ingles hasn't penetrated.
Dude,
Okay, wow.
Wow.
Joe Ingles hasn't been a dribble into the paint guy the last month, 6 weeks. So the idea that all of a sudden Joe Ingles is going to turn into a drive and kick guy, I think is a little difficult.
Wishful thinking.
I think it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Joe Ingles does one thing exceptionally well. He catches the basketball and has a lightning quick release from 3. And when he does that, usually it's wet. He's not a guy that he brings the ball up, kicks, runs to a spot, catches the ball, maybe sets a pick, shoots a 3.
Yeah.
Goes down, plays defense.
They don't have but 2 guys, maybe 3 if you count Bogdanovich, who can get their own shot. I mean, that's just as simple as it is. And you're playing a team full of dudes who can get their own shot. I'm not just talking Kawhi and PG. I'm talking about Reggie Jackson. I'm talking about Morris. I mean, the list goes on.
Well, and the other thing is, I think this is the first team in some time that you're seeing that can equal you from the 3-point stripe.
I think Jazz fans probably think that take is ridiculous. And I'm telling you, this team can't shoot the 3. They can.
No, I'm being serious. Do you realize
the
Clippers are the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA right now. But this is what I say about the Phoenix Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best defensive team in the NBA playoffs right now? It's the Phoenix Suns, and nobody knows that. And listen, I understand that the Jazz are an elite 3-point shooting team. I got news for you. So are the LA Clippers. And if you get into a 3-point shooting contest with this team, I'd probably favor the Jazz. But I look at guys like Marcus Morris, and it's going down. I look how they beat the Dallas Mavericks. Luke Kennard left all alone, and Luke Kennard hits a couple of threes. It's not Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's not the problem if you're playing the LA Clippers. The supporting cast is producing. And Ivica Zubac's played 3 minutes on a team that's small, playing a team that has good size in Boban and Porzingis. Now, neither one of those guys is half the player that Rudy Gobert is, but offensively, Boban was really effective at times. But the issue for the Mavericks was that it was Luka and everybody else. And when this Jazz team has struggled this year, it turns into Don and everybody else. So I'm just saying. 5 minutes, by the way, we'll give away everybody's asking when we're giving the TV away. 5 minutes.
Everybody's here now. Everybody's here now.
A lot of people are here now. Yes, 5 minutes. I don't think they are sleeping on him. I just don't think we have to worry about that. Okay, that's cool. I look at Casey Finland said, guys, I'm not comfortable with the matchup for the Jazz. Very talented Clippers team that fans are overlooking. Didn't the Jazz beat them 3 times without either Leonard and George? Well, I mean, I think you go back to the Staples Center game.
Mm-hmm. That game was the best representation of what I think we're going to see in this series.
Of what this series is going to be.
But yes, to answer the question directly, I do believe, and I know you're pulling it up here, but I believe the Jazz did beat the Clippers 2 times when PG or Kawhi was out, I think.
2 out of 3.
Yeah. And then the Clippers, when fully healthy, came back and won that game. And if we all remember the very frustrating ending to that game, which was, hey, we've got a shot. Rudy doesn't rebound the offensive glass, and Kawhi gets it and puts it back. So, it just was obviously very frustrating. But I just think, listen, the point is here that the Jazz played a Memphis team in the first round who they were loads better than. I mean, I'm talking light years better than that team, and didn't really have pressure or any sort of issue handling them. And I just think that if you're a Jazz fan, I'm just urging you, cautioning you, trying to wake you up to the fact that now your playoffs are starting. Now adversity is coming your way. You will have to battle in this series. This is not going to be an easy series. I do think you have a great shot to win it. I do think it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series. This nonsense about Jazz in 5 is just that. It's nonsense. There's no way the Jazz are beating this team in 5 games. I can't get down with that.
I don't see how that's even possible.
Yeah, and it's not really even a knock on the Jazz. It's more about the fact that the Clippers are just frankly just as good as the Jazz. And everyone's going to say, well, the Jazz were the 1 seed, and look at the standings, look at the stats. And what I'm telling you is, yeah, that might be true. But we're not playing regular season basketball anymore. We're playing half court, possession by possession, 5-on-5 basketball. And what that does, and the reason that matters, is because when you play half court basketball and you're playing 5-on-5, possession by possession, matchups take over. You're not going to get. You're not going to be able to rely on 20 points in transition in these games. You're going to have to earn your points in these games. And that's why I have major concerns about the fact that the Jazz are essentially playing 4-on-5 when they're on offense, because Rudy Gobert is not a threat offensively. So where do you go? And that's why, to get back to the point of today's show, that's why the Mike Conley thing is so concerning, because when Mike is out there, it's chaos, because you got to respect his shot, you got to respect Don's shot, and then you've got guys like Bogey and Jingles, and when Royce is on and he's hitting his threes from time to time, then it's chaos. But when you take Mike out of that and you put Joe into the number two, or really even the point guard position, now things change. So that's why I'm concerned about it.
Well, and Joe's not got what's the right way to say this? An ambidextrous trait of floaters with his left or his right hand.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bag in the paint.
Not. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Mike Conley is a dynamic offensive weapon. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so game one.
Mm-hmm.
Game one was Clippers at Vivint taking on the Jazz.
Yep.
Jazz win 106-100.
Okay, who was playing?
Kawhi Leonard had 20 and 16, 9 dimes.
20. 16 and 9 assists for Kawhi.
Yeah. Paul George had 25 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 6 steals.
Okay.
And really, the story of that game was that you had a huge game out of Mike Conley. 33 points, 7 assists, 2 boards.
Mm-hmm.
Huge game.
What about Don?
15 points.
So
and that worries you.
See? So when you look
that
at
worries
that,
you.
When you look at that, you say to yourself, okay, so what really happened in this game was that Mike Conley probably, and I'd have to go and watch it again, but just based on knowing this team a little bit, Mike Conley probably starts out the game operating and using the pick and roll and kind of getting into the paint and using that floater game that he has that we love. And as the game progresses, the Clippers are obviously going to take that away, and then the ball movement starts. So without Conley, I'm telling you, it's an issue. It is a problem.
Yeah. And yeah, so the second game of the back-to-back, the first one in Utah, neither one of the Clippers stars played. And then what you'll remember is, and this is February 17th and 19th,
mm-hmm.
the Jazz win that game 114-96.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But then you come back to Staples Center on a back-to-back, which is February 19th. And the Clippers win 116-112.
Okay.
Don scores 35. Bogdanovich has 23. Conley has 16. So
more
what
realistic.
happened? That's more, altruistic of who the Jazz offensively are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you got 19 out of JC off the bench. But you got 29 out of Kawhi Leonard. Paul George gave you 15. Pat Bev gave you 17. And you got 19 from Lou Williams off their bench.
Mm-hmm. Which who they don't have anymore.
Yeah, who's not even on that team anymore.
Yeah, he's in Atlanta.
And their bench is completely different. That's by the way, the other thing that you need to say is that's a different team now. So, it'll just be, I just think what you're seeing is a well-prepared, ready to go Utah Jazz and LA Clipper team.
And it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a great series, and it'll be fun. Brandon Whiteside says Jazz gentlemen sweep again. Okay. That would be, I don't even know how you do that.
Are you going to stream the Jazz game on your new PlayStation? Or,
you could. You absolutely could. Jeremy Bolton says Jazz beat a fully healthy Clipper team earlier in the year. who cares?
just
It's
went
regular
through it. We just
season,
went through
right?
it.
Yeah, it's regular season. And B, I just think both teams are different. John Verzosa says, nope, first game Jazz beat the Clippers, Kawhi and PG played. Yeah, they did. That's what I said. A-Kane Canal says it's defense it's definitely going to 7. Good morning, mates. Good morning to you, AK. Driftwood says Jazz are the only team that hasn't played a playoff series yet. They got a 5-game warm-up against a 10th seed, which, by the way,
I'm saying.
is a little concerning.
Come on, guys. Like, we're all sitting here, like, trying to have confidence in the Jazz based off of what they did in the regular season. And I love the wording there, a warm-up series against Memphis, because that's exactly what it was. That it turns out that hey, you're definitely way better than the Memphis Grizzlies. So that's why I say this, to me, is the true start of the postseason for the Jazz. This is like where the road to a championship begins. You have to prove that, because think about it, and we've had multiple comments of people saying, hey, it's a straightforward path to the finals, right? So if it's so straightforward, then I would think Clippers or Jazz in 6. If they go to the NBA Finals this year, it would have to be Jazz in 6. Then they would play the Suns, in my opinion, which I think would be a 7-gamer. Honestly, I don't think the Jazz are better than the Suns. I think they're very even, and I don't think that if you're a Jazz fan and you think that you're better than the Suns, you need to watch more Suns basketball. So against the Clippers, it's Jazz in 6. Against the Suns, it would be Jazz in 7, and then I think you lose the NBA Finals in 6 to the Nets. That's what I think would be the realistic path.
That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, to go through the West, beating Memphis, the Clippers, the Suns, and to lose to the Nets.
I mean, it's no shade to the Jazz. I
Not
just
at all.
think that the Nets are better. They just have more. Again,
Kevin Durant last night, if that's the Kevin Durant we're getting in the postseason, just give him the trophy.
It's over.
Now.
It's over. I mean, there were multiple people, and again, I'm happy to get criticized for slurping the guy. He's the best scorer in the league's history ever. Like, you're not stopping him, dude.
Okay.
You're not. Who's a better scorer?
I just don't think you can do that.
Who's a better scorer?
You can't do it. We have no idea what he would have been like against Jordan. You have no idea how he would have played. All of the guys who played it, I don't want to do this. God, why do you do this to me?
Because it's not
why
just
do you
me
do this?
saying it.
If you put in the physicality of the 80s and 90s, all of these guys are different. Kyrie, Harden, certainly KD, Steph Curry, like all of these guys are different. Like Donovan Mitchell plays physical already. So it wouldn't impact him. I look at guys like Kawhi Leonard plays physical already. It wouldn't impact him. But I look at guys like Kevin Durant, who doesn't want to be touched. What he did to Giannis on that double crossover last night, that's one of the best defensive players in the NBA.
You're telling me Giannis wouldn't dominate the 80s defensively?
Oh, my God. If Giannis was they were playing the Karl Malone highlight on Isaiah Thomas when he busted open Isaiah's face. That's what the 80s and 90s was about. Now, he got a flagrant foul. He was ejected. But that's what the 80s and 90s were about. You'll never see that today. That just would never happen. So it's very difficult for me to say, well, what would Kevin Durant take Jordan off the Bulls, put Kevin Durant on the Bulls against the Pistons, and it'd be the Durantula rules.
He would shoot over them. He wouldn't have to have the Jordan rules.
I don't think so. That team, the Detroit Pistons, were incredible defensively. I mean, and by the way, he wouldn't have the training and the physical ability he has now.
Yeah.
So I think it's really hard to compare across generations. Is Kevin Durant the best scorer in the NBA probably for the last 5 years? If you take out the injury years and whatnot, since he came into his best, yes, he is. I don't think there's any doubt he's a better scorer than LeBron because LeBron can't shoot. I look at I think Kobe Bryant's a better scorer than Kevin Durant is. I think Kobe, once he put that fadeaway in, once Kobe started in like year 3 or 4, consistently making the 3 ball, and then once Kobe got the sickness of dunking on people, he became a player who didn't have a limitation. Much like Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant can be had physically because he's pretty slight. I think he can be beat physically. But he's a hell of a player. He's the best scorer I've seen in the last 5 years. When he's right, when he's playing like this is a guy who had his hamstring meltdown on him, 2 years ago? I mean, it was unbelievable. So, yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. John, let's not worry about Suns and Nets until Jazz advance first. Sure, the Nets seem invincible, but Durant could easily get injured during these playoffs. Well, my mom could get injured during these playoffs. I mean, anybody could get injured. I don't necessarily look at it like that.
But I think the injuries are what play into his greatness right now. I mean, that's what makes it amazing what he's doing.
Jeremy Bolton says, no worries. If the Jazz don't win a chip this year, they'll get Don next year. Or Dame next year, rather.
Yeah.
I don't think Dame's leaving Portland.
Keep wishing. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving Portland, and I think that...
By the way, they also are not hiring Jason Kidd, who he wanted as his head coach.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love how first we get, superstars don't come to Utah, and then now all of a sudden everyone's all confident that...
Well, he did go to Weber, I mean...
Yeah, but, I mean,
If he's leaving, he's going to Golden State. I mean, he's an Oakland guy. I have a hard time believing that Dame's going to join an already elite team. The Golden State Warriors next year with Clay back have a ton to prove. They need to show that they can still do what they do. eBay the Sofa Surfer, good morning to you. I think the Clippers' downfall was not getting Terry Rozier from the Hornets instead of Rondo. Their guard play is not good at all. Well, see, and I think that depends on how you look at it. If Luke Kennard is left alone on the wing, he's going to knock threes down. And their guard play essentially is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So Rondo, I think, is a spot player. Again, I say this about Zubats as well. I think Zubats is a spot player. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have to play a role against Rudy, but they've shown they can defend the post without a center in the game. And it makes life very difficult for Rudy on the other end. On the defensive end, Rudy's going to have to really, when teams go small, Rudy really struggles. Again, one of my X factors in this series is going to be Derrick Favors. How does Derrick Favors fit into this series? What is his impact? Is he a 10-minute guy or a 15-minute guy? That's a huge difference in the NBA. So it'll be interesting to see how all that goes. By the way, we find out tonight. So life is good.
We do.
All right, should we give this TV away before we start slurping Devin Booker again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'm about to pull a name out of this bowl, and we're going to. And why don't we do this? Why don't we dig super deep?
Okay.
Why don't we just
get it?
Why don't we? And I'm going to try not to spill all this paper everywhere because there's a lot.
Right.
And let's see. Oh, an oldie but a goodie. Robbie Haskell.
Wow.
How about that? Robbie Haskell wins the TV and the 50-inch Samsung TV in a year of Disney Plus streaming. Wow. Wow. Robbie Haskell. Robbie Haskell's like an OG on this show.
How did he listen before we were doing the podcast?
Oh, yeah. Robbie, by the way, I didn't do it intentionally. I have the 1320K fan blender bottle.
There you go.
If you guys remember that.
There you go.
Robbie is a 1320K fan guy.
Okay.
And
1320K fan, for those of you who don't know, was a radio station back in the day that you were on when we lived here before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And Robbie was Robbie's a BYU fan, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Robbie Haskell wins the TV. Two old timers this week. Brandon Whiteside's been around a little while.
Yeah.
And Robbie Haskell gets the win.
Wow, dude.
Wow, 50-inch.
Bro, I'm curious if Robbie's here or not, but if you're here in the comments, bro, congrats.
No, I gotta find. I actually think his I think he on Twitter he's Hasbro. I could be wrong. But yeah, Robbie Haskell is Hasbro24 on Twitter. Do this. Don't let me announce it. Everybody on Twitter, go hit Hasbro24. HASRO24. Hasbro24.
Yeah.
And let Robbie Haskell know
let him know, bro.
He won the 50-inch in a year at Disney Plus on the Monty Show. Wow, that's great. You know what? I love everybody who's here, but obviously, as somebody who's been doing this going on a decade now here in Utah, an oldie but a goodie in Robbie Haskell. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I hope we get to deliver that to him in person.
That'd be fun.
I don't know what his situation is. I haven't, we tweet occasionally, but wow, that's awesome. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do next.
We need ideas. We want input. I think people want the merch, bro. People want the merch.
Well, number one, yeah, somebody
they want the clothes, they want the TVs.
Yeah, number one, this bowl is just not big enough anymore. Like, I don't want to drop any of these names out.
Can you measure it?
Yeah, Wesley Miller, hello. Dane Cowan, hello. Let's see, who else? Just a bunch of people in here. Blake Williams, hello. I mean, crazy. Ruben Tabone Jr., hello. The Nye guy, hello. Pretty amazing. Robbie Haskell's an
crazy,
oldie.
Dude.
That's
crazy.
like nostalgic for me. Mm-hmm. Robbie Haskell's like an oldie but a goodie. Okay. That's crazy.
Do you have a memory with Robbie?
No, just a lot of tweeting, just a lot of BYUing, just a lot of, as somebody that, again, the rivalry is a perfect example of Jazz basketball. Like, I don't have an allegiance to Utah or to BYU. At least not to the point where I'm like, oh, we've won 86 years in a row, TDS. Right? Like, I'm not into the whole, like, you're never going to win. It's amazing. Like, I love the rivalry. I think, Utah BYU is absolutely the best rivalry in college football, or one of them. But it's always fun when you can talk to both sides passionately. By the way, did you see the updated construction at Rice Eccles?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, my good gracious. First of all, they must have set a land speed construction record for putting in the end zone at the new complex, the scoreboard complex, the locker rooms. Like, it's amazing the work they've done at Rice Eccles this year. So, hey, there we go. People,
hey,
way to go, Jeremy, bleed blue, Jeremy. But listen, I just think, it's nice to be down the middle. It's nice to give it to an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. SLCP Shooter says, all those mini Jordan 4s behind you there to get Jake moving on a little Monty. Just saying. You're getting to stay at the castle this weekend, man.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Nothing like sleeping in your own bed, though.
Yeah, true. eBay the Sofa Surfer says, I'm not a Vegas guy, but I see the Jazz now a 1-3 favorite to win it all. They were 4,000 to 1 preseason. I always believed Donovan would win the chip by his 4th or 5th season. Jazz are the odds-on favorite to win a championship. You guys are corrupt, man, LOL. Hey,
corrupt how? What do you mean?
James Knight wants that. He wants to win. What?
James, I mean, listen, if we're corrupt, why don't you just send us some 4X gold, and then next time
maybe you'll win.
We'll take all the names out of the bowl, and we'll just leave yours, and somehow, some way, by some magic, your odds went up a lot. I don't know how that would have happened.
AK says, I want the merch. Terry says, what's up with the merch?
See, people want it.
Yeah. The Jazz Huddle says, yo, who won the giveaway? Robbie Haskell won the giveaway. Hasbro on Twitter.
Tweet him. Light his Twitter feed up, man.
Casey Finlinson says, big W, Robbie. Amen to that, Casey. Kidding, lads. Love the show. Yeah, James, it's all good. But James, I'm telling you, we're coming to Australia. We have a lot of trips planned. Hawaii, Yellowstone, Hawaii, and then Italy. After that, I'm thinking we got to do a Japan-Australia swing. And then Yeah, anyway. Driftwood says, hella mega tour tickets. Exactly right.
Okay.
Okay. You both need bottle in trash practice. Yeah, we're terrible at shooting.
Hey, man, I'm only like 25% from the field. I'm not
That's
terrible.
An Instagram message, or a reference, by the way.
Yeah.
We at the gym every day, we shoot empty, what is it? What's
Powerade.
Powerade Zero into garbage cans. Well, we try to. They don't go in the garbage can very often. Will you guys be on every day during the off season? Really enjoy your show. Thanks. Yes, we do the show 5 days a week. Well, this week it'll be 4. By the way, we're off on Friday because, well, I'll be in Las Vegas.
I want to thank me for having no days off.
You know. And maybe we do a show on Saturday or Sunday to make good for that because the Jazz don't they play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
Damn, this is about to be a party if we're going to do a Saturday show.
It might be a Saturday show this week because the Jazz play Saturday night. James says, love the Rack Attack drop. Seek the rack attack. Seek YT says, just wish to get the TV, but I don't come here for the TV. Keep the fire. Thank you.
Yeah, to answer the question about the offseason question, are we still? Yeah, of course, we're still going to do the show. Now, it should be said, though, that during football season, there's going to be a lot of football. I mean, we're not going to talk what Joe Ingles did on the golf course 2 days ago during the offseason.
Yeah, so a quick Jazz update. Joe Ingles shaved using a 9mm blade.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we don't need any golf course updates.
Devin Booker put new wheels on his 68 Chevelle.
Yeah, we don't need any of that. We need football talk, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is what it is. All right. Congratulations, Robbie Haskell. We'll DM you on Twitter. Let's Suns. I want to talk Suns a little more. Before we get to Kevin Durant banging porn stars and bringing backup plan. This Kevin Durant story we're going to tell in 5 minutes is wild.
You want to talk about a score? My God.
My God. All right. So who's better, Suns or Jazz?
I think they're dead even. I don't think one's better than the other.
Who's better, Suns or Nuggets?
The Suns.
Who's better, Jazz or Clippers?
The Jazz.
Look at you hesitating.
Barely.
I'm going to take the Clippers are a nose better.
Here's why, though.
And by the way, we need to pick this series because we haven't officially picked it yet. The Suns are, we told you the Suns would beat the Nuggets.
Yeah. Suns in 6, no doubts.
I really want to take the Jazz in this series. And every time I go against my instinct, Jake says, well, why do you always say you should just follow your instinct? Because you never do.
What the fuck does one thing have to do with the other?
I should just follow my instinct, and here's what the F it has to do with the other. My instinct says to take the Clippers in 7 games.
Sometimes I think I just say shit. Sample what comes out of my mouth.
I really want the Jazz to win this series. I hate the Clippers so much. Can I just tell you? Part of that is having worked, around the Lakers and having covered the Lakers and worked for the radio network. And I'll never forget the Clippers not giving Shaq tickets on his birthday. And he dropped like 60 points on them. It was amazing. I hate the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to win this series in 7 games.
Okay.
And it's hard to even say that because if you're here and you don't want to see Suns Jazz in the Western Conference Finals, you're not a basketball fan.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be an unbelievable series.
Yes. It's what we deserve.
I think the issue for the Clippers and the Jazz is that I don't trust Mike Conley. And I want the Jazz to win this series. Hear me clearly. Understand, I'm a huge believer in the Utah Jazz. If Mike Conley wasn't injured and we weren't talking about that, I'd take the Jazz in 7.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he is injured, and we are talking about it. And
that's every day.
I think Mike is, with Mike Conley.
Sorry, that was cold.
That was cold.
Bro. That was cold.
With Mike Conley, I actually think it is every day.
Oh.
And I think that the Jazz cannot beat I know I've said this 1,000 times. The Jazz cannot beat the Clippers without Mike Conley. And maybe I'll eat my crow tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think
Here's
so.
my only hesitation with picking the Clippers.
They are the Clippers.
They're the Clippers. They're incredibly inconsistent.
Steve Ballmer's balls don't fit in his pants.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is just,
Do people know that reference, by the way? I don't want you to just think I'm talking about Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. I don't want you to think I'm talking about, like, his man bits, but he sits on the baseline in a chair wearing khakis that are a size too small. And my man he's like a Motel 6. He has no ballroom.
I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today.
And it's uncomfortable to look at.
I'm pumped.
It's uncomfortable to look at. And I hate the Clippers so much. Like, I am not, listen, the reason I hate the Clippers? Because I hate the Spurs. And Kawhi Leonard played for the Spurs. You know why I hate the Clippers? Because well, they're the Clippers, and what's to like about the Clippers? Billy Crystal, I hate Billy Crystal, who likes the Clippers, so I hate the Clippers. Like, there's nothing likable about the Clippers.
Yeah.
Paul George, you're a douche, right? Their whole, there's nothing to like. Oh, that's right, they're really good at basketball.
So I said, yeah.
And I think they unfortunately match up really well, and they do a lot of things that the Jazz struggle with.
Oh, man, dude.
I have to do it.
Dude.
With the Mike Conley questions, I have to take the Clippers in 7.
Clippers in 7.
I have to take the Clippers in 7. Jeremy Bolton says, I'd love to see the Suns v. Jazz Western Conference Finals. Can CP3 even stay healthy that long? Well, I got to tell you, he hit some big shots last night.
Yeah.
So can he stay healthy? Yeah, I would think so. James Knight says Suns Jazz Western Conference Final would be awesome. Clippers avoided the Lakers allegedly. Well, now I'm going to guess they wish they hadn't. Cristobal Sanhueza says, do we know if Conley is back? There is really no update on Mike Conley.
He's listed as questionable.
I seriously doubt he plays tonight. And I think that the Jazz are anticipating a long series. And if you're anticipating a 6 or 7, you're going to take your time in this with Mike Conley.
Yeah, you're going to take your chances early in the series.
Yeah, you're going to take your time with this.
And that's why I say, if we're being realistic about it and we think about how these first two in Salt Lake are going to play out, I do think a split in Salt Lake is actually pretty realistic. I think, let's say that you come out and you drop game 1, Conley comes back for game 2, you win game 2, and now you're going on the road for 2 in LA.
And the Jazz are a good road team.
Yeah, and so that's why I say, okay, well, that's really where the series would start then, right? If you split at the Viv, then that third game is really where where the series kind of is going to take a turn for against the Jazz. I mean, if you win game 3 and you're up 2-1 with one more in LA, you're feeling really good about yourself. You have breathing room. But the last thing that you want to see here is the Clippers somehow, some way figure out how to win both games in Salt Lake. Because again, this is the love-hate relationship I have with the Clippers. When they're going, they're really difficult. Like, they are tough to beat, but it's so often they are just not going. And I think the thing that really encourages me about the Jazz is when they smell blood in the water, when it's there, they are vicious, man. I mean, they are ruthless from 3. So
just keep talking. Please.
Here we go.
What
are you doing?
You sons
what in the hell are you doing?
You got to be kidding me.
Let me guess. They don't make it in your size, and you're all upset about that.
You got to be kidding me.
Yep, they don't make it in a size. I'm telling you guys.
It is the Air Jordan 1 Low Violet Shock, and it's a shoe that I've been waiting for, and they don't have it in my size. Of course they don't have it in my size. Mm-hmm. I have had zero shoe luck lately. Maybe it is that I'm just a terrible human being, and I agree that could be, that could be the truth. But that's incredibly frustrating. That's incredibly frustrating because that is
already sold out.
That is a beautiful. Is it sold out in a 13 too?
Yep.
Wow. What size does Mrs. Monty wear? Like an 11?
11 and a half.
11 and a half. What size Jordan Low do you wear in men's? 11 and a half. We'll see. Can we get it for Mrs. Monty at least? No, sold out. Whatever.
Whoever came up with that shit need to be fired.
That is so frustrating.
Whatever.
To lose. Oh, I have wanted that shoe since the first time I saw it. That's
I want it.
Anyway, Bolton says Jazz have to punch the Clippers early and play super physical. You know what the Jazz have to do? The Jazz got to win the third quarter for once. Like, where did third quarter Jazz basketball go? Remember when the Jazz used to come out and just put teams away in the third quarter?
Yeah, you know where
that
went?
Go to the fourth quarter, up by 12, 15, 17 points.
You know where that went? It went to game tape and scouting. Teams are not going to let you just run them over anymore.
Yeah, Driftwood said Conley listed as questionable. He's playing.
Nah. No.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
On a surface level, you would say, oh, yeah, questionable, he's playing. Yep, it's the playoffs, he's playing. But I don't think that that's the smart play if you're the Utah Jazz. And I don't think based on the way they handle those injuries that that's what's going to happen. And if it does, hey, just to be clear, I'd like to be wrong here, honestly. Like, I'd love to see him play. I would love it if the hamstring was fine, and it was just kind of like an injury management thing, and it wasn't something that he was at risk of like ending his season on. But the hamstring thing tends to be a very
it's been lingering.
It's just a pesky, annoying thing, whether you're James Harden or Mike Conley.
By the way, did you hear the description of the Will Barton hamstring injury?
No.
So Will Barton, the guard for the Nuggets, is out. It has been out. And now we find out it was not a hamstring strain. His entire hamstring came off the bone.
Oh.
Like that's what's been going on, like, yeah. If Mitch says, who do you guys think, give me a couple guys who you think are vital for the Jazz. Oh man, I think, Mike Conley, number one, Mike Conley.
Why?
I think Mike has to play well because he shoots the three really well. And he's got an arsenal in the paint. And likely again, I realize I say this all the time. Points in the paint will decide this series. Rebounds in the paint will decide this series. Offensive rebounds will decide this series. So I think Mike Conley's really important. Frankly, I think Royce O'Neal's defense is going to be hugely important in this series. Because if Donovan Mitchell is having to work hard defensively, that's going to diminish him offensively. Because he's going to have to work hard. Kawhi Leonard is going to be matched up. I have to think Kawhi is going to be matched up on Don a pretty good part of this series. And my guess is that the Clippers are not going to switch on those pick and rolls and screens at the top of the key. I think that means Joe Ingles is a very critical component in this series. If Joe Ingles isn't getting the catch and shoot three opportunities, this is not the same team. And I think Joe Ingles is a critical part of this series. I also think that you're going to have to see, and Jake, I don't want to steal your thunder because you brought this up in the pre-show, and I think it's amazing. You're going to have to see a certain somebody off the bench, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that you're going to have to see Mr. Oni come off the bench and play a lot of defense. I think he's going to be the guy that...
you meant Trent Forrest, right?
Yeah, Trent Forrest, the Hall of Famer, the guy that's this amazing up-and-coming player, and we hated on, and he's the Jesus Christ of bench players. Get the hell out of here with that. He's not seen a single minute in the postseason. Wow. Get the hell out of here.
Sorry.
I don't want to hear about Trent Forrest anymore.
Wow.
Anyway, point is, A, you should have added more depth at the trade deadline. That's another conversation. B, Oni needs to come off the bench and play serviceable defense. He has to. And the reason I say that is because it can't just be, to what you were just talking about, it can't be Donovan and Royce playing the majority of your perimeter defense. Obviously, Rudy's going to do what he does. That's just a foregone conclusion. But I'm talking about perimeter defense making it difficult on the Clippers. Oni's got to play a big role in that.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have to get an unusual performance.
Yep.
And I think, man, Mike Conley just has such a ripple effect on this roster because I think Joe Ingles is a far less effective player starting than he is coming off the bench. And I think it changes your depth. You're never, I wouldn't anyway, but I don't think you'll ever see Jordan Clarkson as a starter for this team. That's not his role. It's not his best fit.
No.
And I think Joe Ingles struggles, frankly, when you ask him to start because the touches are not there. When he plays as a second unit guy, the touches are there. The rotations are there. It just Mike Conley's the whole thing. Mike Conley's the whole thing. Shocker, Monty takes the Clippers. Not a shocker. I've told you for a week they're going to win the Mavericks series, and I would have taken the Jazz if Conley were healthy. And if Conley plays tonight, I'll take the Jazz.
I really don't understand this whole thing about you guys constantly saying that we always pick against the Jazz. I mean, this guy...
Well, we don't, yeah.
I mean, you straight up said that and we actually had a pretty... not like an argument, but we actually disagreed on it when you said that the series was over after Game 2 against Memphis. You were steadfast that you had said that series was over, and obviously you turned out to be right. And my point just is that, hey... It has nothing to do with fandom. I mean,
nothing.
Nothing. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again, and I'll say it every show moving forward if I have to. You're not going to come in here and get, hey, let's blow the Jazz show. That's not what we do here. Okay. If you want that, turn on the radio in Salt Lake City, and you can get that. Okay. But what we're going to give you here is X's and O's on how we think this series is going to play out. And the fact is, and I don't really care if it upsets you guys, to me it's the truth, the fact is that the length and the athleticism that the Clippers bring to the table is really where the rubber meets the road for the Jazz. Because at the end of the day, and we saw this last night with the Nets and the Bucks, athleticism and the ability to shoot a jumper are what win championships in the NBA.
Yes.
And the Jazz have two guys, legitimately have two guys that can create their own shot whenever they want, and that's Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson. Everybody else against a good defender, not a subpar defender, but just your average NBA defender, is not going anywhere. I'm talking about Bogdanovich isn't able to get around guys who are average. I'm talking about Royce O'Neal is not able to take guys to the rack who are average. Or, even Ingles. We had a comment about how, Joe Ingles is going to be driving in the paint. He's not going to be driving in the paint. That's not who he is. He's a perimeter shooter. So it has nothing to do.
He is a catch and shoot.
Yeah.
So he stands in a spot, they throw him the ball, he shoots a three. He's not a bounce off the dribble guy.
It has nothing to do with
fandom,
fandom, dude.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with, oh man, you guys just hate the Jazz. No. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, hey, this is what we see. And then, by the way, again, not to turn it into we told you so, but we've told you so like 50 times about the NBA in the regular season and here. We could do a whole list on it.
Yep. I just, listen, if Mike Conley plays tonight, I will feel much better. I will be able to sit here tomorrow morning and tell you I'm an idiot, and I'm a terrible person, and I got it wrong on the Jazz.
Yeah.
If Mike Conley plays and they lose, I will expect each of you to bend the knee. I mean, it needs to happen.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah, you need to anoint me as the king of all kings and just understand that I am a blessing to your life.
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
I'm kidding. Can we talk about banging porn stars?
Okay, yes.
Before we talk about the rack attack, getting vaccinated, because this vaccine story is going to be a frustrating one. Kevin Durant, Chaboy, Kevin Durant,
right,
crawls into the DMs of a girl named Lana Rhodes, who is a porn star. Well, excuse me, she used to be a porn star. Now she's a social media influencer.
Hashtag OnlyFans.
And by the way, she's pregnant. Maybe that's why she's not a porn star no more. Anyway, the point is, Kevin Durant goes out on a date with Lana. Lana's like, cool, man. Kevin Durant wants to hit that. All right, awesome.
You have a deal.
Yeah. Oh, you're Kevin Durant? You have a deal.
You have a deal.
Kevin Durant shows up with a girl on his arm to their first date.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Wait, let me get this right, KD. Kadizzle. The Slim Reaper.
Right.
Durantula. You're telling me you showed up for a first date and you brought another woman with you. All right, you're gangster. We get it.
Yeah.
You're just backstopping the fact that Lana Rhodes is a porn star and hopefully she is going to let you procreate in her garden that night. And if she doesn't, you'll procreate in somebody else's garden. It's all good, the same to you.
Dingers.
Yeah, it's all the same to you, right? Okay, well, here's the problem. Apparently Lana Rhodes did let him procreate and plant seed in her garden. She's pregnant.
This is a code 10 abort.
So everybody's all up in arms that Kevin Durant brought another woman on a first date. So he brought a date to his first date.
He had a plan B.
I'm not even up in arms about that. If this is Kevin Durant's baby, you're stupid, Kevin Durant. You got a social media influencer pregnant.
You're so fucked.
What were you doing? Oh, I know what you were doing. You were having sex. That's what you were doing, Kevin. How gangster is it, A, to bring a date to your first date to make sure that
Oh, shit. Damn, I am tripping.
you're going to Iraq tonight? Second, how do you get a social media influencer pregnant? Like, how do you do that? First of all, here's my question.
Yeah.
You know she's a porn star. So, I mean, how many dudes have driven down that street? Like, I mean, isn't it like a conveyor belt? Like, I mean, it's a lot of bros.
Yeah.
No, I'm good, thanks. This is what I say about Britney Spears. I was in love with Britney Spears. Head over heels with Britney Spears.
I want it.
Oh, and then she had kids with Kevin Federline, and that ruined the visual for me. because now I have to think about Kevin Federline every time I pull into the driveway.
All right, we're going to move on here.
Nah, I'm good, right? At least with Jennifer Aniston, you know, I mean, the fruit's not ripe anymore, but at least you know that.
No,
you know,
I guess not.
Yeah. Eating stuff. My point is, you're Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
You're wealthy beyond belief.
Uh-huh.
You're really good at basketball.
Right.
You can have any woman you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unfair.
You picked a former porn star who's now a social media influencer, and you got her pregnant.
Whoever came up with that shit need to be fired.
So you're saying Kevin Durant's not the smartest guy?
Oh, we already knew that.
Okay, so why don't... Okay. Try to defend your guy. Like, what? How is this defensible at all?
In this situation, there's no defense. You're an idiot. I mean, first of all, again, not to repeat everything you just said, but I agree. How is it that you can be okay with the whole, hey, she was an adult film actress, and then you went in there and did your thing.
Actress.
And then you went in there and did your thing like that never happened, or that's just not a reality. Like, I could never get down with that.
She's an actress, all right. He wrote his own script.
Razzle dazzle!
Yeah. Golden Globes, my ass. The point is...
My fucking head.
The point is... I don't understand that.
But here's the thing. It's not just KD. Like, this is really dumb out of him. I mean, he's had a rough year, dude.
Orbit X says KD trying to get the 3.
Yeah.
You brought a date to your first date. You were trying to hit the 3. I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Go get it.
Get it. James Knight says, oh, rack attack.
The rack attack!
Exactly right. Which is, by the way, a Kevin Durant highlight.
Yeah.
I would point out. I don't understand this thing when you're a multi-gazillionaire.
Yeah.
And you don't go to Beverly Hills, you go to Skid Row. And it just, I've never understood this. Like, if you lay down with dogs, you're going to get fleas. Like,
You're Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Is Aaron Rodgers banging anything that's not a premium Hollywood starlet at this point? Well, Danica Patrick, so he went through his teenage boy phase. But
God bless.
You can't blame the guy. But my point is, it was
dude.
Olivia Munn into like the Divergent chick. Like, okay, I can get down with that.
Her name is Shailene Woodley, please. Thank you.
And Shailene, look, I like you. You're a nice girl. Don't ever take your makeup off again in public. Don't. The point is...
Now, that's just not the way to go here, Karen.
You know what I'm saying? Oh. The point is... Aaron Rodgers, because he's Aaron effing Rodgers, he only bangs hot Hollywood actresses.
You're Aaron fucking Rodgers.
You're not Deshaun Watson flying masseuses in. You're not, right? Yeah. You're not Kevin Durant hooking up with former porn star. Like, why? Help me with, why are you Bill Clinton getting some, beach in the Oval Office from an intern?
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
Right? If you're going to get caught, Matt Gaetz, don't do it with like a sex trafficking thing.
This is a tasty burger.
What are you doing? Like, my God, like, okay, here's the other thing. I understand Jeff Bezos. Okay, listen, man. Look, you're a billionaire.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Okay, you've been with the same girl forever. All right, well, let's go find a helicopter pilot, Lauren Sanchez, and have her brother hack my phone and steal my nudes and release my D-pics. How are you, Jeff Bezos, and your D-pics get released?
Okay, what's in the comments? I need to know what's in the comments right now. What are people saying?
Not much. People don't like us talking about sex, I think.
No, I don't care.
So we're not allowed to talk about politics or sex or D-pics.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Or teenage
boys.
This
is what life is about, people.
It is. I don't know how guys, rich millionaires, multimillionaire, billionaire guy can consistently...
They just think they're invincible. And they think, oh, well, if it does go sideways...
Robert Kraft got a handy.
Bobby D.
Bobby's D got a handy in a massage parlor that Donald Trump referred him to. So how many times has Donald Trump been there? You were the president of the United States. How do you put your pants on backwards, dude?
You're a dude.
Right? Like, I'm trying to figure this out with these guys. Like, at least help me understand. You're 80 years old, Bob Kraft. 80 years old.
Oh.
And hey, more power to you. Apparently you can still run the flag up the pole. But
Even if you'd like to be.
You couldn't get in call? Like, at least have her come to you.
Yeah, at least Deshaun knew what that was like.
right? Like, do it in a hotel suite, not some like. Did they even disinfect that place? Bob?
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
And by the way, you have a hot girlfriend. Now she's a gold digger, but you have a hot girlfriend. Anyway, I'll stop. What was the other thing we were supposed to talk about? I can't remember.
No, we got it covered. Katie and Lana. Donald Trump's pants.
Oh, the vaccinations.
Oh, the vaccine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, see, like this is where I need the comment section. 61% of Americans are vaccinated.
The coronavirus
is almost gone in this country. We are open. People are out eating. I'm going to Vegas. I'm having steak dinners.
They have the sniffles.
Right? Like, I am absolutely living life. Going to the gym, playing ball. I'm fully vaccinated,
yeah,
right?
Everything's great.
But there are people who won't get vaccinated. And still, there are fights on planes because people won't get vaccinated. And still, people are upset that they have to wear a mask in California going into large retail stores. And the excuse, well, we don't have to do that in Michigan. Well, you're not in Michigan, dick. So my question is, look, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. You're an American. You have choices to make. But do you not watch the news? Do you not see what's going on in Brazil? Do you not see what's going on in the UK?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the UK? The UK, they went into an emergency meeting when the coronavirus was spiking several months ago. And the guy whose job was to coordinate it goes into this meeting, comes out of the meeting and tells somebody, we're in trouble. We thought we had a plan that was generations old to deal with like a pandemic. It turns out we don't have a plan, and now we're not even. We turned down like vaccine stuff from Pfizer. We told them
This case is empty.
We don't need vaccines because we have a plan that's generations old because we're the Brits and we plan for this stuff.
Right, your plan, yeah.
They had no plan and no way to get vaccines.
Empty. The opposite of full.
You're so effed, bro. Like,
yeah, dude.
I mean, how is that possible in the UK? People are dying literally to get vaccines. They can't.
Yeah.
But here in the U.S., where we have too many vaccines and they're dying on shelves, essentially in refrigerators and freezers, only 61% of the people are vaccinated. And the other 39% are upset that they have to wear a mask. Like, I don't understand this whole thing with vaccinations.
Yeah, there are people, at the good old Yelpatory who won't do it. I mean, I know all kinds of people who won't get the vaccine because they believe that it does weird things to your body. And it's just this whole conspiracy culture that just ruins it.
61% of Americans are vaccinated. The virus is going away.
Yeah.
But places like Brazil, India, parts of Europe, like the only reason I'm not going to Europe instead of Hawaii is because, well, we had paid for Hawaii long ago, years ago at this point. But like, I can't go to Europe now because it's not open.
Yeah.
Like, even though I'm fully vaccinated, like all this crazy stuff, and it's all because of vaccines.
Yes.
It's ridiculous in my mind. Gavin Birch, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Packers this season? I don't.
No.
I think they will trade him. I think the only other way out of it, and I think it was Peter King came up with this, the only way out of it is if the Green Bay Packers, and they'd have to do it completely clandestine, under the radar, nobody knows about it, go to Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, play for us one more year, and we promise you we will either release or trade you to a team of your choice after this season. Give us one more year. That's the only way I see this working out, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers will do that.
No, I think he's, I don't think he'll do it either.
Yeah.
I think he's cold-blooded about it.
Yeah, Driftwood says, send the XX vaccines to Brazil and England. Well, we tried. They turned them down. Brazil has literally said, we will not take vaccines. We don't need them. They have millions of cases. It's terrible in Brazil. Rodgers is playing for the Titans.
No.
I don't know about that.
They got what they need.
I think Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Denver Bronco. And now with Julio's contract, I don't know if the Titans can afford him.
No.
And they don't need him.
No,
Ryan
they
Tannehill
don't.
is more than
He's
serviceable.
Fine. The guy's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I mean, he's more than serviceable.
Yeah.
Eric C. says another great show. Well, thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate that,
it.
Eric C. Congratulations
Yeah.
to Robbie Haskell. Our guy, Robbie Haskell.
I'm just saying, by the way, 2 days in a row giving things away on this show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Just saying.
It seems like, our merch has won the What Should We Give Away Next?
Okay, so you guys want merch. Okay.
Yeah. Robbie Haskell, congratulations. I'll DM you. Thanks for following us on Instagram and Twitter. The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show. SLC Supercars. Make sure if you haven't, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a subscribe right here on the old YouTube machine. And until tomorrow, say Hasbro for the win, Jake.
Hasbro for the win, Jake.